And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Allison welcomes a guest. She's a writer and advocate for less nerdy picket lines. It's Robin Shorr. Tone-zone is here to tell everyone to have a gusta. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the love bus and say hello to your new best friend, Allison Rosen.
Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little pumpernickels. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. I am sitting here in the pod cabin, and that particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon. I saved it. I saved my intro by Lisa Lowry. All sorts of fun stuff on Patreon. I just did a video where I unboxed mini keepsake urns, which are tiny, adorable urns for just like a teaspoon of ashes. That is a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
And everyone's laughing, but you guys, my patrons crave the grief content.
It's exciting
There's episodes of the Friend Zone, my Patreon podcast, where you can text me and I'll text you back. I've been writing a lot on Patreon lately, so all sorts of fun and real stuff. Go for an annual subscription and get 2 months free. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Okay, I would like to say hello to my guests and then explain why you might hear a slight lisp. Although I was more tempted to not even mention it at all and just see if anyone writes in and says I'm lisping, but that's not my style. Robin Shorr.
Hello.
Thank you for, I have to divulge because everyone's going to hear you on the episode next week.
Your poor audience, guys. I'm so sorry.
They
everyone
love
out
you.
there.
They love you. Okay, so we had a last minute understandable dropout last night, and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? I reached out to Robin, and she said she was available because thank you.
Of course. It's my pleasure.
Because Robin understands that when you get an offer to do Allison Rosen's Your Best Friend, you move hell and high water. Mountain and what do people move?
Mountains and molehills.
Molehills and mountains, yeah.
And hell and high water.
I'm in my offer era. I just want everybody to know that. It's just
what
like
did Taylor Swift wear for that?
I don't know, something fabulous. But I'm happy to be here. And I actually am curious, we could discuss this later or off mic, but this is something I need to learn from. Do you get upset when people cancel?
I will explain. I'm happy you asked that, and I will explain it. And then today, we're recording this at 4. At 3:13, the other guest dropped out, and I was like, "She's sick." I was like, "That is okay because we have Robin."
Robin's enough.
Robin is enough.
Where were you guys when I was little?
I know. I know.
Guys.
Sorry. Well,
I'm really happy to be here. I'll be here whenever you need me to be.
Thank you.
I'll come running.
I
love
a bed
that.
we could put in here.
I enjoy your children very much, so
They enjoy you.
I might take you up on that offer. I'm going to kidnap them.
Last night, Owen slept in our bed. And then we have this mattress at the foot of our bed for Owen, theoretically, but he's
decided that he is more comfortable not being in that
he
mattress.
prefers our bed. So Elliot slept on that mattress. So no one's sleeping in their appropriate beds. Please come. Sleep in very...
we've got a
Sounds like
couple
you have a family bed, and I would like to make it a friends and family bed.
Oh my God, yes. You can bring another mattress and stick it down next to the Elliot mattress. He would love that.
We'll have a grand old time.
You call him Hot Wheels.
I do, but I think Hot Wheels is my name.
Yeah.
And his name is really Robin, but we'll work it out.
Oh, right.
We'll work it
I love it, though. Tony, hello.
Hi. Oh, you snuck up on me today.
You know why?
So early.
My head rotates clockwise. and it's because of me that you're in that spot. It's not like you just snuck up on that spot. I stuck you there.
And I've been here for a while.
Yeah. But it turns out that that's the direction I go when I'm introducing people, despite the quality of the show, or I don't know. Like it just my head only goes one way, I guess, and then
Fascinating.
it flips around the back, and then hi. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. You know what's funny is I feel like Friday or Saturday at one point I was like, man, I think I saw like your email about the show, and for today I was like, I wonder if Monday's even going to happen. I hope we don't have to do Zoom.
Yeah.
And then for anybody listening right now, it's
sunny.
77
It's
degrees and
Let's
sunny.
talk about that in a moment. Yes, so I was on Never Not Funny earlier today, Jimmy Pardo's podcast, and they had sent a text the night before, or was it maybe Saturday night?
Yeah.
Jimmy texted me and said, like, obviously we're keeping an eye on the weather, so if it's not possible to do in person, we'll reschedule. And I was thinking that is not the offer that I'm going to be giving my guess. If we can't do it in person, we will have to do Zoom. But anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. Daniel, hello.
Hi. I find that when I get an offer to be on this show, I reluctantly accept because I have no choice.
That's not true. Sometimes you claim that I'm actually making a note. Cancellations. I'm making a note so that we get to Robin's topic.
I can always say no, technically.
It's just not going
What
to
does
go
that even
well.
mean? That's not true.
Thank
I'm
you,
always
Tom.
I'm
fine.
asking a
Totally
question.
understands.
I meant that in the form of a question.
I'm fine with it. Sometimes it's an improvement. Just kidding.
Is this real Allison talking or show Allison talking?
I don't even know anymore.
I know. It really changes. It sometimes.
So the lisp, which I don't think is very there.
It's not.
I haven't even
Yeah.
noticed it.
Okay, great. Then maybe I won't even tell them. No, I'm doing Invisalign now. When I got pitched Invisalign, they're not a sponsor or anything. When I got pitched Invisalign by the orthodontist, okay, if we must back up because
We must.
everyone's clamoring to know.
must.
I'll get to the point.
I had braces like
Yeah.
a teenager. When I was a teenager, as one does when they're, or a little younger than that.
How many years?
So I always claimed that I had them from 14 to 18, but then I was thinking about the fact that I had my retainers when I was driving. I guess that doesn't rule that out. No, I think I was like 17 when I got them off.
But you also had the crazy ones where they drill into your skull and pull it out with a.
I had an
with a-
impacted cuspid.
Yes, they have like a chain that extends over the top of your head.
So
and
I
it's
had
like
an
a whole
impacted cuspid, which means they had to go do surgery and attach a little bracket to the tooth, and then there's like a tiny little gold chain that dangles out from the roof of your mouth. Did you know people who had that?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they
Crazy.
they attach it to your arch. I think it's called your arch wire, and then they like pull it when you go in, and it's, I had to white
Oh
knuckle
my
it.
god!
And then I don't know if I've told this. Everyone is so uncomfortable right now. I don't know if I've told this fun story. I saw the tooth sort of coming through one day, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm birthing a tooth." And then it wasn't coming out of my vagina. It was just, I meant more like
Thank you
figuratively.
for the clarification.
So it was not vagina dentata.
It was not, no.
Thank you.
Just double checking.
Yeah, just oral dentata.
No, she had dentata vagina.
So anyway, then it started coming through a little more, and I was like, my tooth is deformed because it's like paper thin and looks all weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They went in to get the tooth, but no one considered, like, is this tooth worth saving? And anyway, it turned out that the bracket had come loose from the tooth, and it was just the glue that I was seeing. It wasn't my tooth at all. It was just the bracket. So they had to go in and do the surgery again.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ah, jeez.
And my departed father is very afraid of anesthesia outside of a hospital.
He was a doctor.
Is that what I said? Did I leave
No,
that
but
out?
I'm just saying he was a doctor, but he was like afraid of.
Well, it makes me
Anesthesia.
wonder, like, what did he see
I feel like
to
it's
make
like
him so fundamentally distrustful
My
of the
the-
medical?
My theory is my dad worked in
Profession.
law enforcement. He's a prosecutor, and it's like when your sample of humanity is just the worst, even if it's super rare, it seems not rare.
But my dad didn't work in like medical malpractice.
No, but he's
going to
see more mistakes than
I
a normal
guess.
person.
Yeah.
So it's going to feel like more possible.
Meanwhile, I ended up having like, I ended up being like put out like 12 times, not in a hospital because of all the IVF and stuff. Some of my best memories are of those drugs that you get. I've talked about my love of Versed before. Anyway, so I was awake from having my wisdom teeth out. I was awake for both surgeries with the impacted cuspid. Like a normal person, a normal father would allow their kid
Well, I was
to be
awake
asleep.
for my wisdom teeth being taken out. I don't know if it's that uncommon.
I was
Really?
definitely asleep.
I
Yeah.
was asleep.
Definitely asleep.
I would have
I
loved
think I was
to have-
given the choice.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Yeah,
hell no,
they'll
I'm
do
not
it
taking
under local. But like the oral surgery that I had, I mean, I heard someone say, "Move her lips so we don't cut it." I'm like, ah. And then I remember after the wisdom teeth, I got in the car and I immediately started crying because it felt like the wisdom teeth felt like a very violent procedure.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the smell
Yeah.
because they had to break them
Okay.
up. And then-
Now
and
that's
then-
too much.
Well, and then I remember when they were pulling, the feeling of them pulling
It feels
out.
like they have their foot on your face
Yes,
for like
they're just pressing
counterweight.
against your
Yeah,
head.
it's a lot of pressure.
Oh. Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway,
very well.
so all that is to say, I had orthodontics in the rear view.
Yeah.
But then I didn't wear my retainer. And then I had one tooth that was really like turned when I started. So it started turning again. So I went to an
This is
orthodontist.
recently.
It was like 8 years ago. So not that recent. I was like the oldest person at the orthodontist office. It was like me and like a bunch of kids.
The magazines were like highlights for kids.
Yes, it's a place for kids.
Yeah. I went to, not to interrupt, but I went to,
Please.
in the last 10 years, to get my retainers at a place called the Ortho Spaceship.
Yeah. That's cool. That's where Owen
You're
should
like,
go.
hello,
was
fellow
like-
kids.
Yeah. I was like, hello, time traveler. Please take a seat. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So she made me a retainer, like they call it an active retainer, because I didn't want to fork over the money for Invisalign. I didn't want to do all that. I just wanted the retainer. But I could never really wear it because it was uncomfortable. I mean, I could, but I couldn't make myself wear it because it was uncomfortable. So then recently I went back and based on the way who cares? Based on the way my bite there's like two tooth heads out there who care.
yeah.
Based on the way my bite is, my back teeth are like grinding into my front teeth and all my teeth are getting chipped, and so I still was like, okay, but like cosmetically things look okay. And then I asked my dentist, who I really trust. I trust my orthodontist too, but I asked him, they're recommending Invisalign. What do you think? Thinking he would say, I don't think you need that. You have a megawatt smile, Allison, and your teeth are basically straight-ish.
Hell yeah.
But instead he recommended it based on like what's happening on my lower teeth and like, and plus it's just going to get worse as you get older. So either do it now for, X amount of time or when you're older. And it'll be even harder then. So I said, you know what? Let's just do it. So that's why I'm wearing Invisalign, guys. And I do feel, and I know that like, I feel like the vast majority of people who do Invisalign are adults, but I do feel there's something quietly sad / pathetic about adults doing orthodontics. Like the woman at the orthodontics place that I went to as a kid was like middle-aged and had a full set of braces. And it was just like, I feel like when adults get a full set of braces, again, no offense, I am one now. It's just like, I'm doing something for me now.
I want to disagree with that. I don't feel that way. When I
Okay.
see someone who's an adult doing it, I'm usually happy for them because what that tells me is that they didn't grow up with the kind of privilege or the ability to have it when they were kids.
That's what
but
I'm
they have
saying.
worked to a point where they can, and they're taking care of themselves and making themselves feel better about their looks.
I
And I
know.
like that. I like when people make moves to improve themselves. And
Okay,
unlike you,
I'm gonna get a
unlike you,
canopy
who's
pad and a pony.
extremely judgmental of anyone, the pores as you call them, and I just feel that's gross.
I understand intellectually regarding it that way.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying emotionally, when you see like a grown ass woman with a full set of braces or finding out she's doing Invisalign like me, you're just like, go you. That's empowered. That's how you feel like emotionally feel. Not just like, oh.
Well, my
don't
mom
have
had
an emotional
braces
feeling.
at the same time my sister had braces. I
Okay.
think they went in at the same time, and I was a little bit younger. But I think my mom considered it a novelty. I think she thought she was different and cool. But I can't really remember. It's been so long. But I don't think anybody I don't think anybody said, go Margie, like, go you.
Get your teeth bag.
But also she didn't grow up with a lot of privilege. And when she could, she did fix them.
Yeah.
But I should ask her. I should ask her if people said encouraging things to her.
But like behind her back, we're like, oh, poor Margie.
Poor Margie.
She missed out.
She's just getting her teeth done now, and it's only 1983.
Well, now if you combine it with like a Hello Kitty backpack and that kind of stuff, then I would have an emotional like, okay, there's something weird about this.
Right.
But like
colored bands.
didn't like Parker Posey get like as soon as
Gwen
she started to
Stefani
get famous, she got braces and now she's got that megawatt smile.
Megawatt.
No one's
Megawatt.
casting her in anything, but she has the smile.
But her teeth are ready.
Yeah.
When
they call.
Now you recently got a retainer.
No, I got a retainer in the last 8 to 10 years because I know my teeth were moving too, and I had lost my retainers from like teenagehood.
Right.
And I signed up at the ortho spaceship. They took great care of me. They put a little doggy decal on my bottom retainer.
I was going to say,
Fun.
after your appointment, do you get to pick a toy out of the treasure box?
I think I did.
Yeah.
They showed me this book of all the designs my retainer could have on it, and I was like,
What?
Excuse me? So it was great, and I leaned into it. And I like to wear them sometimes to make people uncomfortable.
Now, I used to do that. I wore them for so long until my friend Paul in college was like, do you wear your retainers because I forget, it was 2 options, but one of them was like, just because they told you to, like suggesting I'm some kind of rule follower. And then like, I feel like I actually didn't stop wearing them until around the time we got together.
There is this attitude that a
that
lot
makes
of people have of like, it's like a default.
You're never supposed to stop wearing them.
Right.
I never started. But there is a default attitude some people have of like, when experts tell you something, you need to like divide it in half because it's always bullshit. They're always overdoing it. You know, there's like, I have family members that are like that. Like they never take that advice seriously because they assume it's bullshit.
With Invisalign, they recommend wearing it 22 hours a day, and I'm hoping I'm hoping that you can get away with a
I
little bit
put
less.
my retainer in like a couple nights. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let the chips fall where they fall. I'm not wearing this thing.
Wait, sorry, you have a retainer? You and your mouth guard.
What? I'm
Back
talking
then.
about when I was 13.
Oh, and
What?
yet your teeth are still in the same.
Yeah.
Well, I lucked out.
You did.
One more retainer question, and then we can
Yes.
move on. Unless Tony, you want to share. Robin, the retainer you got with the dog decal.
Yes.
Was this just to hold your teeth in place, or to actually move them a tiny bit?
I think to hold them in
Okay.
place. I should also say that
passive
I'm
retainer.
just remembering what prompted all of this, which was that I think it was my mid-30s. I was out on a date probably, and I had a permanent retainer behind my bottom teeth. And in the middle of the date, it popped up. And
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
sorry. And I had to I went to the bathroom and I had to pull this wire that had been cemented in my teeth for 30 years. I had to pull it out.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah.
And it just over time just collapsed. So I think that was what prompted the booking on the ortho
Right.
spaceship.
Wow.
So could you never floss with that in?
No, you could
On your
not
bottom?
floss. You could pick at it,
Mm.
but they had some sort of thing that you could use. But I will say I didn't want to go back to my original orthodontist, who I think at the time was still practicing, still out in Woodland Hills, because the last time I'd seen him, which was right after college, he totally hit on me.
Ew.
Oh my
And
God.
I was like, Dr. Blank, I've known you since my mom got braces,
That's
which
so
makes me
weird.
like maybe I was 6 years old when my mom got braces.
Ew.
That's not
Wait.
the only time that's happened to you, too.
It isn't.
You told a
no.
story about some family
Oh yeah,
friend
the older
who-
family friend.
God, that fucking guy.
Yeah.
Oh God, that wasn't even that was just.
That was just inappropriate.
Yeah.
I need more uncomfortable details about this. But first, Tony, I forgot to turn on the timer. How many minutes are we?
We are 19 minutes in, just
Okay.
about.
Robin,
Time flies. Yes.
how did he hit on you? And also, what's his age range?
Well, it's ironic because at the time I was dating much older men,
Oh,
so
okay.
I was like, "Is this my thing now?"
Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
brand.
I definitely know he was older than my mother. So even
Oh my
growing
God.
up, and it was something of just him leaning in really close and being like,
Oh my
"I can't tell you what." a lovely woman you've turned into. Like, should we meet outside to discuss
What?
something XYZ? And I was like, Dr. Blank, no. Like, I'd been going, I mean, it was gross.
That's
and
very
he had
gross.
grown a ponytail in the time.
Oh my
Recently
god! Hence,
divorced.
hence the boldness.
I think he did get a divorce,
Yeah.
and there was like this period of time between college and then being an adult, between after college and being an adult, that I must have gone there, and really was just like, this is not cool.
Yeah, ladies, you got to watch out when the guy's hair gets into that ponytail. It's
Oh,
like
no.
they're ready to creep.
Seriously,
Did you tell your mom?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did, and of course, as she did with the family friend. She was like, "Did you go out with him?" Like, you know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
he's an orthodontist. He makes a lot of money.
just a
That makes me
reminder when this horrible family friend was trying to be horrible, my mom walked into the conversation and was like, "Oh, I'll let you two talk."
Now, why is it just a different time that you grew up in where, or she's not sensitive to these things?
I think all of that,
yeah.
yes to all of that, plus a general cluelessness
Yeah.
about things that are happening right in front of her.
Right,
But
can't
God
read the
bless.
room.
No. God bless, though.
Yeah.
We love you, Margie.
Are her teeth still straight?
They are. They look really
Good
good.
for her.
Yeah, they do.
I'm glad she was able to do something nice for herself.
Go, Margie.
Okay, so as people may or may not know, there was a huge hurricane that was predicted to hit Mexico and then Southern California.
It did hit Mexico and
Okay.
Southern California.
Hurricane Hillary.
It was predicted, and then also
By the way,
prediction came true.
I feel like don't give weather a political sounding name.
I know.
Hillary's
yeah, Hillary should be off. The same way.
It should have been Hayden. Anything,
Right.
What are other H
There's
names?
no more.
Harry.
You don't hear about
Holly.
Hurricane Adolf.
Yeah.
But also, why do hurricanes have names?
Yeah.
No other like storm
Right.
or weather event
It's
kind of thing.
alphabetical.
Well, I think
And
it's just a way of identity.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's 3 hurricanes, I think, lined up in the Caribbean, ready to slam into the East Coast. So they
Oh.
each has a name, so you know.
So there's
who you're talking about.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I think,
But-
you're not going to get like multiple earthquakes at the same time or something.
They should name earthquakes.
Yeah.
So, but I
Earthquake
remember
Jimmy.
when we were naming Wendy and we were just going through various names and I said Hillary and you're like, we can't. I'll always think of Hillary Clinton. And
I have no memory of that.
you said that's
No.
all the name means to
The
you.
only name that I remember, what was yours? Gretchen or something? Or
I love that name for a dog. Were you going to name your dog Gretchen?
No, that is a really
That
good
is a
name though.
yeah.
Oh,
But
I
what
grew up
was
with
it?
a dog named Gretchen.
Oh no, Georgina.
Georgina. Isn't
I
that
like
such
it.
a good dog name?
That's great.
Well, I loved
He-
the name Wendy.
He's like, it just sounds like a feminine version of George. I'm like,
I
yeah,
said
that
it
is
in a
the
nice
name.
way. We named her Wendy, and then I realized, no, I actually like that name if we have a daughter, and now we've blown it by naming our dog Wendy.
But
So
you got to be careful.
Yeah, but my friend,
Gretchen
my
is a good
friend,
dog name.
my friend's parents had a dog named Maggie, and they were from Chicago. So the dad would always go, "Down, Maggie, down, get down, Maggie." And then years after Maggie died, my friends had a child named Maggie, and there's sort of no.
You can do that.
They did it, but they waited for the dog for Maggie to pass away.
I had a rabbit named Elliot.
Oh,
I don't tell that story often.
You had a rabbit named Elliot
don't
and
tell
a dog
Elliot
named
this.
Oliver.
And Elliot's is Elliot Oliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
I know. I hadn't realized that we gave him 2 of our previous animal names together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One would want to think they were named after some great person from history, and it's
Right.
just your pet.
Just like the name.
Yeah.
It's all right though.
Okay, so this was supposed to be unprecedented, cataclysmic hurricane that it could have been really, really, really bad. We were supposed to do all kinds of prep. And in my gut, I felt like this is not going to be a big deal.
I felt that too.
Same.
And it turned out to be even less of a deal than I thought it was going to be. And now I don't know if it's like, I think it just turned out. I don't think I had a premonition or so. I don't know what it is. So I'm curious what everyone's experience was. However, when I went and did Never Not Funny today, we were talking about it a little bit. And I said, jokingly, but I was like, I feel like these meteorologists should be accountable to us.
Yeah.
Because there was one that I watched on TikTok who was saying that, the West Coast of California or LA area at least, the infrastructure is not there. They're not prepared for this. No one knows how to prepare. blah, 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 blah. It's going to be, like going on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being no big deal, 10 being panic. I put this at like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah,
and I heard that and I thought, oh shit, like this could actually, I hope I'm not, I hope this isn't like a dereliction of duty. I should be, all I did was put some water in bottle. I filled up some Ziplocs with water and put them in the freezer. I don't really even
Ready
know
for
why.
the apocalypse.
Yeah, and then
Put a bottle of water in the freezer.
it was so nothing. Oh no, but my other point was, but so I'm making my dumb silly point. But then later in the show, I was like, my point that these damn meteorologists, and I was like, is this really hacky? Is it really hacky to be like, these meteorologists don't know anything? And Jimmy nodded. And I was like,
Oh no.
really?
You broke the rule. It was, for a moment, not funny.
Oh.
What'd you say?
Well, I said for a
I
moment.
know.
it was
I know.
not
I was going
funny.
against the ethos of the show. No, I mean, he's like, well, you asked. I don't think everyone was like, oh my God, get the hook and drag her out of here. But it did make me think, like, is this like bitching about the middle seat on a plane or a plane service or something?
I think it's more specific than that. And I also feel like, and Sam felt this way too. My boyfriend, he felt like it was just a lot of like, scare tactics?
Yeah.
And a lot of
Fear-mongering.
like intense fear. And so, I was just kind of like, come what may, like I'll close all the doors and we'll get food and stuff. But he was like, I just don't think it's going to be that bad. And I agree. But then we did it. I will say we had a few trees down in our backyard, and which is nothing with nothing. But when I went out to walk Sadie, probably right before I got your email last night, it was so intense out there to even like, and Sadie peed. She didn't do everything. And she was like, done. I'm done. So there was an intensity to the rain that we didn't have earlier this year. But it was a lot of fear. A lot of fear was stoked. And plus, we should say, during the storm, in the hours leading up to the storm, there was an earthquake.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Warning on. So it was just kind of like, and my thought was like, do you want to know what it was like to live in Los Angeles from 1990 to 94? Like, this was it. This is like it.
Yeah.
But it was just an intense day of just feeling intense.
Was there like an unusually large amount of rain during that period? Because I do remember there used to be a lot more
90 to
rain.
94.
Yeah, 90 to 94. It was El Nino here. It was crazy. And
I
I had a
remember
friend die in the floods. God bless him. During the floods, his bike slipped out from under him and fell into the LA River, and then he went after it. So it was just like intense, but like I don't know. It didn't feel like a hurricane. I guess it was downgraded to a tropical storm.
Yeah.
And it did feel very warm out, even at 10 o'clock.
It was very warm, and the rain was coming down harder than normal, but there wasn't wind.
Yeah.
And
At my mom's, there was, though, down in Orange County. She
there was
had
a lot of wind.
2 pots of plumerias that got knocked over.
Oh,
Jeez.
She's okay, though.
Can we have a moment?
for the plumerias.
Yeah.
Plumerias.
I mean, maybe Orange County, it's closer to the beach, but there was just a lot of like fear and I feel like the storm had its own marketing. Like it was just like, geez,
Well,
it's taking over our lives.
I wasn't thinking it was going to be anything, and then I got a couple texts and like, "Are you preparing for this?" And I hadn't really thought about the possibility of a power outage, so I thought, "Oh, well, maybe I'll do that." But then I was thinking about it, like when a hurricane is going to hit Florida, people in Florida have been through it.
Yes.
They kind of know what it means when you say category 2 or category 1. Like, they go, oh, this is when I start boarding up my windows. This is what I do. We've literally never had anything like that here in Southern California. And so I felt like there was an obligation from the meteorologists to educate us in a way that they wouldn't if it were happening in Florida. And there was none of that. Like, I would think, like, look, hey, treat us all like we're a bunch of fucking idiots, because kind of we are, and it's like, this is the difference between a category 1 and a tropical depression. And this is what you should expect if it's a tropical depression over you. Like, this is what 65 mile an hour winds look like. This is what 85 mile an hour winds look like. This is like none of that. And then, so I was like, kind of like in this, like, I was frustrated. And then a listener said something like, pointed out that the meteorologists are freaking out. And it reminded me that, oh yeah, in Los Angeles, when it rains, just regular ass rain, there's someone live on the street
Absolutely.
reporting on the rain.
Absolutely.
They are the worst in the business.
Yeah.
So I was like, after that, I was like, fine.
Let's take a moment. There's a dude just standing on the roof over there. What's he doing?
Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm going to take a picture.
Please do. Yes.
Is he watching the show?
I don't know. I think he has a carb.
He has a car.
A carb submission. Just
He has
kidding.
like a sign. Like this is like Total Request Live or whatever that is.
Yeah. Oh no, he has his what? He just threw his wallet down.
What?
What is happening?
Oh, that's our
Or his phone.
That's our neighbor.
Oh, okay.
He owns that building.
Oh,
Yeah,
What's
I thought
he?
maybe he's
Family
like
does.
looking at air conditioning or something. That's
Maybe he's looking at the power lines.
Maybe
I'm sure he's
yesterday?
checking for damage. You know, when it
He
rains,
threw something
there might be.
down.
The
It's probably
gauntlet.
okay. He probably threw a tile from the
Oh,
roofing
okay.
because he's probably thought whenever it rains like that, you're going to discover the leaks in your roof.
Yeah.
And I suspect that's what he's doing.
And you want to know something?
Yeah.
We got a new roof about a month ago, and
good.
and we had 2 spots in our roof
Oh.
that absolutely would have caved.
Oh
And
my
like,
God.
no one wants to pay for a new roof. A lot of people out here are getting them because of the rain. It's been so bad, but I will say, like, I'm so thankful we got a new. Like, it's not. I don't believe it's a frivolous expense.
A roof is
No.
important.
Yeah.
I was explaining to Owen why it was not raining in the house yesterday. And I said, this is why we have a
Great
roof.
question.
This is why we have a and he was like, oh, now it all makes sense.
So when you're like, I put a roof over your head, Owen,
Yes.
you're like, so it won't rain on you.
Right. Was he actually confused about why it's not raining inside?
I feel like
that's
in a
something
moment
would
he
get.
realized he had never pondered it, and then it
Oh.
was solved in the same moment. It was just like a delight in his head.
Robin, have you ever walked on your roof?
No.
The way that guy's just, I mean, I don't see him anymore. He might have fallen to his death, but he was just so cash about just walking on their sloped
Yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
I would never, ever do that.
That's a pretty
Uh-uh.
mild slope, though.
It is, but it's not like, isn't ours kind of flat in places?
Yes, plus he had one of those old like paperboy hats on or whatever you call those things. The
like a
newsy cap?
Kangol.
the Kangol.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he looked like he should be picking up his saxophone and
Yeah.
playing for stray cats
That
up
would
there.
have
You
been
know what I
the
mean?
best.
Have you guys walked on roofs?
Played
Sure.
played saxophone on the roof. I don't think so. No.
Daniel?
I have. I've been on our roof.
You have?
Yes,
When?
many times.
What?
Prove it. Go do it again.
Yeah, let's see it.
I want to hear when and why you've been on our roof.
Well, we had a lot of issues with our roof when we moved in, and so I would have to go up there and talk to the roofing people about what we wanted, and then we had an air conditioning unit put in up there, and so there was an issue where it was going to go, and then solar, and had to go up there for the solar stuff.
But these conversations couldn't happen on land? Level ground?
Well, we don't have like a 3D map of our
Okay,
roof.
so you had to go up there to show them
So
stuff.
you have to show them like where something's going to go.
Where did you put the ladder?
Against the roof.
No, at what part of the roof are you accessing? Like, was it back
well,
here?
different places depending on the.
This is
sometimes in the
fascinating.
front of the house, honey. Sometimes in the back
He
of the
leads
house.
a whole life. I know
Yeah.
nothing
A
about.
roof,
yeah.
that roof life.
Were
I
you
didn't
scared?
tell you about it. I was afraid it'd be too much for you.
Were you scared?
No,
Not at all.
it's not scary.
So, like, once you're on the roof, you're good.
I have good balance. This hasn't been an
What if
issue in my
I was
life. I don't
going up
just
on the roof?
fall over. Like it's not. I'm not walking around and then whoa.
See, I do.
Yeah.
I can
No,
fall
I
from a
wouldn't
standing
trust you on
position.
there,
Yeah.
which is why I have never invited you up there.
The one invitation I'm not like belly aching over not getting.
My dad lived in a house for a while where it was like an old. It was this really nice house. It was kind of Adobe style, Santa Fe style, and in the corner outside there was like this little stairway, almost hidden, and you could go up. And then they had created like a patio, and it was the
Oh my
highest.
gosh.
The house was at the highest point in the sort of valley, Tucson Valley. So it was like you could just see over. It was really nice, and I think maybe we should do something like that, like create a tower. that we
Yeah.
I
could
mean,
sit
if
on.
it's like fortified and my thing, and it's been,
No, I just meant for me to get away from the family.
that's fine. You can do your man cave on the roof. It's been so long since I've used a ladder.
a man's
to get,
crow's nest.
Yes. It's been so long since I've used a ladder. I'm trying to think of my last time on a ladder. I don't know. But for me, the scary part is from the top rung of the ladder to wherever you're going.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
like it feels like one false move and you're dead.
Yes.
You know when it was, I think, when we were looking for a house, there was listen to that silky, non-sizzly S.
I know, it's great.
Yeah. There was a loft space that we looked at in one of the houses, and you had to climb a ladder to get there. I remember feeling uneasy about
I don't
that.
remember that.
It was like a built-in ladder, but still.
What about people who have ladders in front of their bookcases?
Oh, like the rolly ladders?
Yeah,
That's
like
cool, I think.
It's a new feature in a lot of bookcases.
like it's trendy.
lately. Yeah, it's very trendy.
Well, everyone
but
has
I don't
those-
want to get on a ladder.
Well, everyone has those little like rails from when
Yeah.
they had the farm doors,
Right.
You know, and now they took those out because
The barn doors.
The what?
I think they're called barn doors.
Oh, are they? Anyway, it derail the show. Here.
I do want to say though that for just going back to the storm for 1 second,
Please.
the amount of like sort of panic that it instilled in all of us, plus the sort of constant like hazard warnings on your phone.
Oh my God.
know.
Yeah.
Create fear, but I'm also just like, I think that was just their way of not saying shelter in place, but stay the fuck home.
They did say-
and they were just like,
Don't
stay
get out
home,
if you
please
don't
don't
need to,
leave.
yeah.
And so maybe the storm wasn't ultimately that bad or that damaging for where we live, but I think they were just trying to like appeal to the most common denominator
Yeah.
and say, don't go
I
anywhere.
think what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, constant alarms.
Constant.
And I think the problem is that LA County is enormous.
Yes.
It's huge. If you look on a map of LA County, I think it's the biggest in the country. And so those alerts are kind of like for them. They put the alert out for the part that is most in danger and not really considering the fact that
Yes.
there's a lot of parts that aren't in danger. The earthquake one, though, was like, get under a table. and it was
said,
like,
take cover.
It was a fucking 5.1 in Ojai. Like, it was like a little bit rock and then nothing.
I
You
didn't
have to
even-
get under a fucking table.
I didn't even feel it. Daniel was at his desk and I was at the dining room table, so not very far apart. And the kids and I didn't feel it, and Daniel felt it, which is weird.
Michaela Watkins, our dear friend of the pod, I'll just say. She,
I would love for her to be a
she'll
friend of
come on.
mine. Really?
Did she used to live in our neighborhood? Who was? Oh, was
that
it?
was Nassim Pedron.
That was
We
Nassim.
received
she's
one of
very
her
nice.
magazines.
She's very nice. Michaela and I lived on the same street for a long, long time. And then she has a place in Ojai, and I got a text that was like,
how
I
it?
was like, this, she was just like, this is so not cool. It's the middle of August and it's like flooding here. And we just felt the earthquake.
Did she have any damage?
No,
Okay.
she didn't. But it's just kind of unsettling.
Yeah.
It's like-
People
like
freak
the earth
out
is
about
angry.
earthquakes, and alerts like that don't help.
no.
You don't really. It's not really anything to be that afraid of.
But did the alert come after the earthquake?
I think so.
I did feel it, but it was very minor. It was like literally the thing of, as soon as I realized it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the couch with Flo. She did not feel it.
Good.
And then
Wait, that's weird.
yeah, we do have a very big couch. But I'm not kidding. That alert came like 2 seconds after I felt it.
Interesting.
The timing of it was pretty crazy because I literally turned to her and was like, "Earthquake?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "What?" No. And then our phones buzzed.
I mean, there must be a trigger, an automatic thing. It's
Yeah.
probably not some person that's like beep or typing it out. But the alert shouldn't be get under a table unless you're like right at the epicenter, I guess. It should be, make sure that you don't smell gas. Like the risk.
Sorry.
It's good stuff. The risk post earthquake is not that the ceiling's going to fall on you. Like when Northwood,
Yep.
Northridge happened. Did anyone get crushed by their ceiling?
Yes.
Okay, good.
But also,
the exception proves the point.
but the earth. So I just realized what it was. They probably sent out that alarm message because of fear that there were going to be aftershocks. Because from what I remember of the Northridge earthquake, and I should read about it more, but I don't want to because it was so traumatic. The aftershocks are actually worse than the quake. The aftershocks killed a lot of people.
That's interesting. Well, I guess that's a good point, but still I'm right anyway. But
I could be totally wrong.
But for the most part, except for that, we're gonna cut that out, right, Tony? The real risk is busted gas lines and stuff, and that's when the fires happen and stuff. So that's a more useful note.
Yes.
So I am the person who always just stands under a doorway because then I don't have to really move my body very much.
Yeah.
But has that been debunked as a good thing to do? I feel like there was a time where it's like get under a table or under a doorway. So I said I'm taking the path of least resistance, which means I'm not climbing under a table. And then I feel like I heard that that's not what you're supposed to, like, it's table or bust.
If you're in a wood framed house, you don't need to do that for the most part. I mean, this isn't official advice. Okay, I don't want to be liable for anybody, like in case. But it's like wood framed houses are really the safest structure you can have. You can
still
be
better
in
to get
an
under
earthquake.
something though.
I mean, if the earthquake's going to last like over 20 seconds, like if it's a long, huge earthquake, sure, yeah. But for the most part, it's really like if you're downtown or somewhere where there's tall buildings, you don't want to be outside because those most of the time, especially in LA, like proper, the waves are going to be usually longer waves. They're going to be deep. It's a deep earthquake or farther away. And those don't affect short structures as much as they affect tall structures. So the waves like that happen. And what you get is the cracking off of the facades. You get raining glass, raining brick or concrete. So you don't want to run outside when the earthquake happens. So yeah, get under something. And then when it's over, get out because then you could have a gas line.
Are you afraid that somebody at the end of their life under a pile of wood was like, Daniel told me it would be safe?
So what I'd like to
send
say
a
is
negative review.
I am not. I am
Click 5 stars, even if you're
not
getting
an expert. Do not take this
Even if you
advice.
listen
It's
to Dan.
comedy show. It's all parody.
I would
What?
like to hear about Tony's extra long couch. Because couches
Wait a minute.
couches
You have an
are
extra long couch?
one of
It's pretty long.
Do you listen to the show?
No, I don't. But can I just say we were talking about the bed earlier. The first place I lived after college, there was a room that it's okay. I'm taking over. They had one of the bedrooms. They had a custom mattress that filled the entire bedroom.
Oh my god,
Sexy.
And I was like, they make king size beds, but they should make extra king size beds. Not California king, which is narrower and longer. I guess if you're like
for
a
tall
Laker,
people.
Oh.
but like no, they should make it wider.
So then you have to walk on the bed to get out, though.
In that place, yeah.
Wow.
That seems weird.
It was a weird place.
That actually seems more inconvenient. It seems inconvenient, is what I mean to say. Unless you like feet on your bed.
I mean, the only other place I've been to that had that was Hugh Hefner's house.
Brag.
Called the Playboy Mansion. No, ever heard of it?
Okay, this couch, Tony.
Yes.
Is it a sectional? Does it have a chaise?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Oh my god. Is it
Yeah, what
Yes,
shape?
it's like
three-sided?
L-shaped, basically.
Is it
Or a
U-shaped?
7, I should say.
Yeah.
Is it U-shaped or if just one L?
No, just one L.
So it's got so I don't think it's a
So
sectional
it's most.
then.
Oh, sorry.
Excuse me.
Yes. So
I'm
yeah,
a PhD
L-shape
in
can
couches.
be sectional.
yeah, because you can.
You can modular.
Yeah, you could.
Oh,
you could. Add
you can-
or
you
take
can
away from
modular it?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can modulate.
And when you bought it, did it say on the price on the tag extra long couch?
It should have, though. I'll put it this way: I can completely lay down on it, and then Flo still has room to sit and not touch me. Even
Beautiful.
Where's this couch from?
it's just from IKEA.
Nice.
It
An IKEA
literally-
extra long.
Yeah, it was. We didn't know what we wanted couch wise, and we just weren't seeing a lot of things we liked. And then I don't know. I also feel like too, you don't. We were actually talking about this the other day. You don't. It's hard to like spend a lot of money on it. I feel like because like you can go sit in it and like this seems nice, but then
Right.
once you you really need to like live in it
Yes.
for a while.
It's so
before
true.
you know if you need it. So
you need
we
to do
didn't want-
rent to own furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a lot. I spent a lot of time couch shopping.
Yeah.
at one
This
point,
is how you got famous. Early on, your whole escapades with from buying a couch.
I did write a lot about my couch.
Oh, I know. I'm not
escapades
kidding.
on my blog. But yeah, I remember like impressing the Crate and Barrel employee with some, knowledge of their catalog of like, well, that's on this frame and this is. But anyway, it is.
Badass.
Yeah. I kind of was the toast of the town when I lived in New York.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hard to choose. What color
Yeah.
is it?
Gray.
That's
There were no choices. So if we wanted that design,
Feels very
that was the one.
Swedish.
We wanted. Yeah. The only bad thing is it's a very light gray, and Bentley is already kind of
You can
made
get
it all gross.
covers though.
Yeah, we might have to look into
For
that
an
at some
extra
point.
long?
I
Get
bet you for
custom.
IKEA,
It does seem like there would be a way.
there would be
to-
standardized covers
Yeah.
like by third parties for IKEA because it's so common.
You're going to see on your Instagram tonight a lot of dog covers for couches.
yeah.
Just wait. I can feel it.
Robin, what's your couch situation?
Well, I had a couch that was just a regular old sofa that about 3 people could sit on comfortably. And then the pandemic happened, and I started dating Sam about 6 months before the pandemic, and we realized that the couch was not at all suited for like 2 people who just want to like lounge and watch a movie together. So we got an L-shaped situation mid-pandemic, and it's been working out great. But have I stained it with various everythings? Yes. It's already ruined, but I love it.
Now, why was your was it 3 cushion? Your old
No,
one?
it was a 2 cushion.
Why was that not suited for people who want to lounge? Was it a tight back?
It was tight.
Okay.
It was a tight back. Yes. It was a vintage sofa that had been reupholstered.
Say no more.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it just wasn't. I had spent a
Wasn't
lot
cushy.
of times as a single woman just laying on that couch and having the time of my life, but it became very apparent very quickly that it was a tough place for 2 people to lounge comfortably. And there was
Yeah.
no place to put your feet except the coffee table. So we just had to do some rearranging. I had to make room. I had to make room for love.
Oh,
Speaking of making room, one more note on
love?
my couch.
yeah.
Okay.
And Couch Talk is going to be a weekly segment now, right?
We need a
Make
we
room
need
for love.
real. We need a drop. I don't know what it should be.
Couch talk.
I think I talked over that. Can we get that again?
Oh, sorry. For me?
yeah.
Couch talk. It wasn't as good. It wasn't as good.
Oh, you want to do it again?
Couch talk. No, that wasn't good.
As many as you need.
Couch talk.
I feel like
Couch talk. This is couch talk.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I feel like you could layer those even and have it like
yeah.
a choir.
Do we need any? Do you feel like we got it there, or do we need
I got
this
plenty to work with.
Okay.
You know.
do something fun with those? For once.
Wow.
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what's gotten
You want me
into
to play some theme songs right now that I've done?
Sure.
You know what
yeah,
it is?
yeah.
It's the braces. You've got this teenager mentality now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm sorry, Tony. That was uncalled for. I was just being
I don't
silly.
care.
Last 16 times yesterday, Daniel was like, "Is everything okay? What's wrong? You have a
Yeah,
look on your
'cause
face."
You,
And-
you often do.
I often do, but it was even more
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yes, it was.
And it's because something is trying
You're
to
a
move
surly
my.
teen.
It's because I've got this thing in my mouth
Oh.
that is like trying to move my teeth around, and
Yeah.
it's like making me a little bit like
was-
I'm not at peace with myself.
So you reported that someone told you because Wendy has to have a few, not Wendy the guest, but Wendy our dog has to have a few teeth extracted.
Oh yeah, that's happening tomorrow, and I'm
That's
scared.
tough.
And was it Jesse said
Jesse
that
Thorne.
Jesse Thorne said that he's noticed that when that happens with dogs, they seem a few years younger afterwards. And I'm just wondering if maybe the reason why teens are so surly
It's
is
'cause they have braces.
They have braces.
Do I have a more youthful vibe?
No, but you're surly.
Yeah. Yeah. So poor Wendy has to have a few teeth removed, and she has a heart condition. So it's a little bit higher risk. She's going to be fine, but
There's still anxiety.
say
about it.
say a retroactive prayer when you hear this.
Yeah.
It will
right.
will be done and over by then.
When you're listening to this, you'll know how it turned out because
if it
goes
goes
badly, you'll hear about it.
yeah,
Oh, poop,
it'll
poop,
be
poop.
it'll be okay.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Our first I was gonna say our dentist, and then orthodontist, and then my brain settled on vet. Our vet, who we like and trust a lot, said that yes, there is an increased risk, but if it was his dog, he would not hesitate at all. So
Great.
I feel okay.
But yeah, her teeth.
If it was his dog, Georgina, he wouldn't hesitate.
Georgina Gretchen.
Gretchen, my neighbor, my dear friend Susie Spitz had a dog named Gretchen. And when I tell you we still talk about Gretchen all the time, we do.
What kind of dog was Gretchen?
She was a Scottish Terrier.
Oh.
And this is really weird, but there's a house in my neighborhood that has a statue, a very realistic looking statue to size of a Scottish Terrier, and it just stares out the window. And so that's why Susie and I are always talking about Gretchen.
Wait, it's at someone's house?
It's inside. It's like in someone's house, and the Scottish Terrier is looking out at the street. So anybody walking by would think, oh, there's a cute Scottish Terrier. But I've walked by enough that I know
doesn't
it's
move.
a statue, and it'll fuck you
That's
up.
interesting.
Do you remember when I assume what the cool, super rich people had in their houses were like yay high, I think plush dolls of butlers?
No.
I actually think that
What?
Nancy,
By the way, yay high being about 4.5,
life
5 feet.
size?
I feel like they sold these at maybe Z Gallery or Sharper, not
Was
Z
it
Gallery,
like the
Sharper
thing-
Image. Yes.
With it, yeah.
Holding a tray.
Yes, holding
I
a
think
tray. My
Nancy
fr-
Salzman maybe had,
She
has
had one.
something in the back.
Plush versions of this?
Were they
No,
plush?
it wasn't plush. My friend
Oh.
Andrew Glasgow had it all through and after college. It was about this high or maybe a little bit shorter.
table height.
To
Table
put
height.
a dish or a glass on next to the couch?
Yeah, and it was just like
Oh.
a butler holding like a
tray.
for
yeah,
you
I
to
can
put
picture
couch
it.
on. Yeah.
I know I've seen it.
Z
Yeah.
Gallery special for sure. And when I saw Andrew had that, I was like, we are fucking grown ups.
Yeah.
People who have that also have a chalkboard in their kitchen that says menu or something like that.
Right.
I swear they have plush versions of them though. In my brain, it's like a mashup with the Swedish Chef. It looks like the Swedish
It's like a
Chef.
Muppet.
Yeah, but I guess I'm wrong.
And also, you could also be thinking of the 80s board game, Don't Tip the Waiter. Remember
Oh,
that
maybe
one? Where it was like,
Yeah,
it would be just like the whole goal was to get, I'm acting it out. And I'm not,
I know, I wish I had
and I'm
video
not
right now.
doing it on the mic.
Elliot has a game that's like, don't wake up Granny. or
Don't
something.
wake Granny.
Yeah, and she's like, it's like you take stuff and then it's, and you know, and he's too scared to play it
Because
it's
it makes a loud
'cause it's
clattering
like
noise.
Operation. It's got that like jump scare.
But what
factor.
if something's wrong with Granny in real life
Well-
and you do need to wake her up?
Yeah.
That frightens
check on
me.
Granny?
Maybe that's the
Right.
sequel game. Is
Right.
maybe you should check on your grandma because you abandoned her.
Right.
Oh man, yeah. And then if you don't, then she like goes full MAGA, like
Yeah.
she's on like QAnon
Yeah.
trip.
It should include like a tiny mirror to hold under Granny's nose.
Yeah. Don't,
Yeah, it's like Jenga
don't wake
or
up
something where you
Granny.
just, like, have to, like-
That game scares me.
Yeah.
But good. I'm glad
Seems-
they're enjoying it.
yeah.
Seems irresponsible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, something I want to tell you about. I did put on my glasses because I'm serious. Step into a world of nonstop action on DraftKings Casino. Play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots. Plus, enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers can get a deposit match of up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer, make your deposit, and start playing from a full suite of games. Your way is the only way to play on DraftKings Casino. Play online on your time, in your space, and within your means. It's safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you're ready. Download the DraftKings Casino app now, sign up with promo code BESTFRIEND, and new customers get a deposit match of up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. Only on DraftKings Casino with promo code BESTFRIEND. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Please play responsibly in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org 21 up. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. 1 per opted-in new customer, minimum $5 deposit. Max match $100 in casino credits, which require one-time playthrough within 7 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions apply.
Smooth.
That was impressive.
Man,
Thank you.
That's a lot.
yeah, I want that on a loop to fall asleep to.
I'm afraid it would keep you too alert because it's just that.
Fascinating.
It's just vigorous information.
Well, all the legal
And
stuff.
my energy is
The
off the
legal stuff,
chain.
it's hard when you've got things in your mouth to be like, blah, 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 blah. You've got it, it slows you down. It's like there's an
impediment, an invisible.
You need that guy who did
aligner.
those, what were those FedEx commercials? Remember that guy?
You talking the Micro Machines guy?
Yes, the Micro Machines
We've
guy.
taught. Was
Yeah.
Daniel not on that episode? Perhaps he wasn't.
I
don't know.
I think I was on that up. I might
Maybe,
be.
yeah.
John something.
Yeah, is he still alive? Is that guy?
John.
We definitely looked
he's
this up.
Not. I don't think he's alive. The fastest talker in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did FedEx and Micro Machines, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I need him.
What was the best era for television ads?
I mean, I'm biased.
The
Is it
clapper.
80s?
I've fallen. I
It's
can't
got to
get
be the
up.
80s,
Yeah.
right?
Do you remember Dream Away? It was like that pill you could take in your sleep and lose weight. It'd be like
No.
Dream Away, and like there's this sort of bigger lady in bed, like tossing and turning, trying to lose weight, and she's like, "I use Dream Away."
Wait, does it make you exercise in your sleep?
no, but she always looked so restless,
Oh.
and then the Dream Away helped her not only sleep but also lose
Oh my
weight.
God.
Wow.
That is brilliant. I was just showing Allison, we never finished it because we got interrupted. I was showing her one of my favorite SNL sketches, which was Jimmy Tango's Fat Busters. Have you seen this one?
No,
Jim
They
Carrey.
actually they cut it out of, if you try to, it's Jim Carrey in like 98. And the whole
is this
episode,
Ride the Snake?
Yes.
right?
Yes, okay.
That whole episode is incredible because it's
Oh.
like Will Ferrell right as he's starting to get good. So he's in a lot of the sketches. Jim Carrey's always great on SNL, and it's just
That was like him at his peak,
yeah,
too.
it was his peak for everyone. So good, but they cut off the final sketch, which is Jimmy Tango's Fat Busters, which to me is like the funniest one of the whole episode. So you got to
Google
like
it.
dig a little to find it.
Yeah, there's so
I'll
many
find it.
sketches cut out of all those Peacock episodes.
Wait, why did they cut it?
Well, I think they have to squeeze it down
Oh.
to a certain amount of
Yeah.
time.
But
And
why?
then they kind of flub a couple lines. So I can see maybe they, I don't know, but it's fair.
Yeah, we need to watch the rest of it.
Anyway.
By the way, the Micro Machines guy is still alive.
oh, thank
What's
God.
his name?
John Machida Jr. I don't know if I'm saying that. Machida? Machida?
Machida. I think?
Machida? But yeah.
Listen, guys, are you tired of cycling through endless amount of trending skincare products that all claim to smooth wrinkles, firm skin, and give you a youthful glow, but don't really deliver results at the end of the bottle? Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin, founded by a team of 4 female PhD-level longevity scientists. Daniel is all about longevity right now. You should check this stuff out.
Man.
With over 15 years of experience studying the biology of aging, after testing thousands of peptides are having a moment right
They
now.
really are.
They discovered OS1. The OS1 peptide is scientifically proven to target age, also called senescent cells. I feel like I have a fair amount of those. The main source of skin aging, and actually reduces the biological age of skin by several years. Maybe that's why I seem surly, because I've got the skin of a teenager.
That's probably not true.
Excuse me.
It's true.
What you're saying is it's not true that that's why I seem...
I'm
you
just
said I
saying
don't have
you
the
don't
skin...
seem younger.
How dare you? Their flagship product, OS1 Face. But I've never looked better, right?
True talk right now, you actually look great.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. Their flagship product, OS1 Face, is clinically validated to improve firmness, fine lines, and overall tone and appearance. And unlike most skincare products on the market, OneSkin works deeper than surface level and is designed to promote healthier skin from the inside out. When you have healthier skin, you have a better looking skin. Is your Daniel current Robin, Tony, listeners, current skin regimen clinically proven to reverse the molecular age of your skin?
No.
Doubt it.
No.
If not,
Definitely not.
give OneSkin a try and see the difference. For a limited time, our listeners can get 15% off OneSkin with our code BESTFRIEND at oneskin.co. So I have.
I'm loving the packaging.
Yeah, I know it's really
great
cool.
packaging.
I'd buy it just for the packaging.
I have the OneSkin OS1 face topical supplement, and in here, and I also have the OS1 eye topical supplement, essential eye cream, and the other one is the essential moisturizer, and they have no fragrance. So yeah, unscented. And they're really moisturizing. They feel really good. And then check this out.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm so ready.
You're going to have to tell them what I'm doing.
Okay, you're
She's
squeezing
pinching the sides of the bottle,
And
which
she's-
is oh,
Whoa,
oh, it looks
is
like
that-
it's refillable.
Yeah, it's refillable. So it's got this like casing, and then it's got the
That's
actual
why the packaging can be
stuff
so incredible.
in a pouch.
because they can,
Oh, and I just squeezed a little out. And so I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to put it on my hands, and then I'm going to have the hands.
of a
a
child.
little
Yes,
child.
Of a
exactly.
toddler.
No, but it does feel really good, and it's fast drying too, so you don't feel like you don't feel oily or anything like that afterwards. Yeah. So, like I said, it targets the main source of skin aging, which is the buildup of old cells or senescent cells, and the buildup of those impairs collagen production and leads to wrinkles and loss of firmness. So they, tested almost 1,000 peptides and landed on this. And in a third-party 12-week clinical trial, OS1 Face was clinically proven to strengthen the skin barrier and significantly decrease visible signs of aging. OneSkin is for everyone that wants to prevent or reverse the signs of aging with a groundbreaking approach. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging so skin behaves, feels, and appears younger. It's time for you to experience a new skin health routine at a discounted rate today. Get 15% off with the code BESTFRIEND at OneSkin, so spelled out ONESKIN.co. That's 15% off OneSkin.co with code BESTFRIEND. We only have one body, one skin, and only you can choose to make it better. Age healthy with OneSkin. Daniel.
I'm all about it. I'm
I know,
all about
Daniel
the skincare these days.
He's a skincare girly.
Oh.
I recently, I hit the big old 5-0 recently.
Congrats.
Thank you.
What?
I guess it's a congrats.
It is
I don't
a
know. I've had
congrats.
a very
You
strange
lived.
relationship with this one. Yes.
Okay.
Except that like my grandfather he died when he was 56 and I was 12 and he always seemed super old. And
yes.
so
Yeah.
the fact that I'm like 6 years away, it's tripping me out. But I big time.
My grandmother had like a full gray beehive, and she was like 47.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was going to say. I feel like
Edith
everybody's
Bunker.
aging so differently.
It's
so
different,
differently.
right? Yeah. Like, Carol O'Connor was 47 when he was playing Archie Bunker.
And I think
It's
she
always
was
a
in her
tough
40s
one.
too, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
always tough.
it's very hard. Like that's to me just such a mind f. So I'm like 50, and I don't feel like I ever had a proper midlife crisis. I'm not like doing the Tom Schwartz bleach my hair kind of thing.
Like Ken from Barbie.
Yes,
We need to see that.
maybe I should.
There was a meme that said every douchebag is going to dress up like Ken
Yes.
for Halloween, and then Tom Schwartz came out swinging.
It is. He is the like barometer for douchiness. Like whatever he's doing, you're like, okay.
I
Like,
know.
But I feel like what I, without realizing it, have done is like I've tried to get healthier
Great.
because I'm like scared of dying. And look, I'm old dad. I'm lucky if I make it halfway through my kids' lives. So I want to extend that as much as possible. I might not make it halfway through. I don't know.
So, my dad, died a little over a month ago. And since then, Daniel has it coincided with Daniel turning 50, but he has really ramped up letting me know how
I need
close
you
he
to
is to
prepare.
death. And I'm just like, please don't do this to me
No.
now.
No, I'm sorry, but here's the thing. It's harder when it's sudden. Like someone like me, it'll be harder.
What is
But if-
sudden? Oh.
dying. But if I can get you accustomed to the idea, it won't be so hard for you. It's a gift.
Just do me a favor and don't
a
fucking
gift.
die anytime soon.
Yeah.
I
no
don't
one's
want to.
allowed.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying I'm now in the window. I got a fucking letter the day I turned 50 from the AARP.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
The day. It's like they were just waiting. It's just, I can't wait to invite this guy to the old people club. And like, it's like, give me a grace period, motherfuckers. Like, give me a fucking month. Like, let me adjust.
But think of it this way. Bill Clinton I know was a problematic president, whatever, but
I would have slept with them.
for sure in a heartbeat. Oh my God, are you kidding?
I mean, who
I still
wouldn't?
can't resist him.
Yeah.
He'll be my hall pass. He's disgusting. But with all
Jimmy
with all
Carter, on the
love-
other hand.
by the way, I just read Betty Ford's new memoir. Fascinating. We can talk about that another time. But Bill Clinton, I think he's older now. I don't know how
He
old
is older than he was.
but he's definitely older than he was, but he's outlived every single person ever in his family. And so I think that was he saw that and he was like,
It's all those
I don't want-
BJs. That's what
Yeah.
what scientists say.
But he figured it out. He got a little healthier towards his
Yeah.
life. I don't know how he's doing mentally. He seems a little scrambled eggsy, but I don't know.
He is
Yeah.
77. Just
He's-
turned 77 2 days ago.
And happy
Happy birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Bill.
Yes.
Bill,
Happy
we're here if
birthday.
you need us. I'm just kidding. That's so not cool. But it is cool because then we could say we have the
I
president.
just think the AARP needs to rebrand because we Gen Xers now are solidly in that demo.
Yeah.
It's like you got to make it cool and
Right.
edgy and,
Right.
and
like extreme aging.
well, because it's like the whole thing is, hey, annual membership, $17 a year. Here's all the benefits. You get these discounts at restaurants, da 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 da.
Pharmacy benefits.
And pharmacy discounts, all
generic
this.
pharmacy.
You know, we'll advocate for blah 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 blah. But then you're like, yeah, but then I gotta lay down my AARP card.
Right. Wow.
You know, so it's like, but if you hip it up and then you make
Right.
it cool, like, ooh, I got my platinum, like my
Diners Club.
what is the black card that the American
Amex.
the Amex? I got
black, yeah.
I got my black AARP card. It's like cool. Then I'll pay the $17. Instead, they just are like, you could get like a holder for your groceries for the back of your car for free, you know, or there's like, or you know, a fanny pack. What would you like with your subscription? A fanny pack or a
you
holder
don't
for
you
your
don't get
groceries?
both. You got to choose. But you automatically get the magazine that our friend Joel Stein writes for.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's like AAA.
Yes,
You get your West.
That's what he interviewed.
Westways.
He interviewed George Clooney. I think came to his house for. Wait, now I'm doubting whether it's for AARP. I know he writes for AARP.
Listen,
No, I think it was for AARP.
That's
I would. I think I would join just for the
yucks.
lulls. I also would subscribe to American Airlines magazine that's now defunct.
I
great.
miss that.
yes.
I thought it was great.
We
Yeah, it was.
took two flights recently because it was round trip, and all I had to read was provided by the plane was the thing that tells you about your plane and what to do in case
No
of
fun.
emergency.
They used to have the
And then-
catalog
yeah.
where you could shop for
Skymall.
Lord of the
They
Rings.
had Skymall
things.
and they had the in-flight magazine
Right.
that was Spanish on one side, English
Yeah.
on the other. And yes, and then I just read the thing that's like, and I appreciate knowing what kind of beverages they have on the flight, but
There's only so many times you,
you can read
that
it.
list.
Where's the crossword?
Right.
Yes, the Sudoku.
You know what I think, Daniel,
Yeah.
when it as it pertains to the AARP and their branding,
Yeah.
I think you should be the change you want to see in the world.
Well, how do
I
I do
actually think you could pitch to them and be like, I have ideas to make you guys cooler, and they would be open
and
to it.
And I could be their guy. Like I put my hat on backwards
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
kids,
We're making
skateboard."
50 cool. Yeah, it's just a thought. You
Honestly,
could-
though,
Make
like
50 cool again. That could be your thing. Like Robin was her thing was feet are the hands of the feet.
the feet are the hands of the legs.
I
think
love
it was
that. I
feet
don't
are
know
the
what
hands of
that's
the feet.
for,
The
but it's
feet are the
provocative.
hands of the feet. Yeah, it was feet are the hands of the feet.
Yeah, it was something, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
ARP, no joke, should have something that's like, what does 50 look like now? Because we're all
Oh.
experiencing this, which is like, this is not what I thought 50 was. I thought I'd be old. I feel like, yeah. So if you want to get people who just turned 50 to join your club, then be like, this is what 50 used to look like, and then show your your crusty old grandfather pictures, and then be like, but now this is what 50 looks like, cool. And you're just like,
Shredding guitars.
Oh, and then it'll be that picture of you in Hawaii from
Just be
2
like-
years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did his Gen Z faces.
that's right. I mean, I don't know.
I've heard a rumor, and I don't think it's cool to traffic in unfounded rumors, but I've heard a rumor that Joel Stein might be here very soon, and I think I smell a partnership. I smell a collab.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
A collabo.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
I guess they call them
I'll
collabs.
I'll design the membership card.
Yeah.
so that it's a design. You got to make it metal. That's the thing.
Heavy.
Like
you know,
titanium.
so it's like a thing you want to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just
Work on
saying, next time he's here, we don't know when that will be.
Yes, who
but
knows?
Who knows?
Might be soon. Okay. Got a lot of stuff to get to. And I haven't even mentioned I have merch. So you
my
guys,
God.
people are already buying it and it's making me so happy. And they're sending me
Awesome.
pictures and I love it. I didn't have merch for a while because stuff happened. But now I do. And there's all sorts of stuff in my merch store. T-shirts, tank tops, mugs, hats, stickers. I feel like I'm leaving stuff out.
If there's
Hoodies.
any kind of merch you want, drop me a DM.
Yeah. Daniel's in the design.
I'm in the design.
Field.
I'm in the unpaid designer field.
Yeah. Although Josh Holtzclaw did a lot of the
Oh
stuff
my god.
too,
Yeah.
and he's
Josh
amazing.
Holtzclaw did do the designs from anything that's good was designed by him.
Well, no, there's also
yeah. There's also bad stuff that I designed, but the good stuff he designed.
but there's also good stuff that this guy Kez Williams did too.
Oh yes, that's true too.
Anyway, though, yes.
Guys, it's all good though, actually. But Josh Holtzclaw's stuff I love.
Yeah. Anyway, go to AlisonRosen.com and click on the banner that says like my merch store is live or whatever and go there. Okay, let's see here. Real quick, Robin, you asked about my feeling about when people cancel on me.
I said the word upset. I didn't mean it. Like, what's your reaction? It doesn't have to be emotional when people cancel, whether it's last minute for a great reason, last minute for a not great reason. Because I did a podcast and we're having it come back, and so scheduling is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, when you get that email or that text, like what goes through your mind?
So if it is right before, which would mean day of or day before, then I go, oh fuck. Because then that like sizzle of anxiety goes through ripple of anxiety. Does your anxiety ripple or sizzle?
Just hits me in the face.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
Right. Cause then I have to scramble.
Right.
And I feel like somehow I usually get the email when I am like putting a kid to bed or something where then I am immediately like, I don't usually take a significant beat. I just sort of will. I'm trying to remember what time I emailed you yesterday. Like I do it. I like pretty quickly. I'll try to find someone else because I'm like, because I get nervous.
Yeah.
So nervous is my reaction.
Nervous. Okay.
If it is ahead of time, and I don't know where the cutoff is, but if it's ahead of time, then it's like really no big deal, unless I feel like this person is canceling because they don't want to do my show, and then I'm like, which just doesn't happen very often. But there have been times where people have canceled. And I've been like, I feel like we're not actually going to reschedule this. And that makes me feel bad about myself. What's your feeling about it?
Well, I just, I try never to cancel as a person. So I don't identify with the canceler very well.
Yeah.
And that results in me being more emotional about it. And not like, oh my God, I'm crying. But just like, I think the anxiety turns into like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Right.
And also there's also this, and this happens a lot when you're taking meetings as a writer, like things get rescheduled all the time. But if it's somebody that you were really looking forward to having on, there's just like that deflation of like, oh, that would have been so fun. I was looking forward to it. And it's just something that I need to get better at in terms of going with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough though.
Yeah.
It is
Does part
tough.
of you not trust the person's excuse?
Sometimes, but then also I'm just like, I think what happens is I go into this sort of selfish, narcissistic area, which is like, well, I would never, ever do that to somebody. How are they doing that to me? Which is not necessarily the coolest thought. But I just think, in this world of podcasting and scheduling, it's like you have to be flexible for sure. But with a Peter Madrigal and a Vanderpump Robs, you got to get that stuff scheduled because we need the cameras there. There's certain things that have to happen when certain people come. But I'm just curious.
It is sometimes, And by the way, I should say, both of the people who canceled today had legitimate excuses.
of course.
So if I get an email last minute, I'm understanding of it. I'm never like, God damn it, to the person. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
And I owe it, it's always like, oh, this just created more work for me.
Yeah.
More work for me, though. And I don't know that I can fill the slot. But sometimes when someone cancels, again, not these two guests, but they're so like cavalier about it
Right.
that it makes me think, do you not realize this is like a big deal on my end, actually?
Right.
Like, yeah, that is weird. Like, as if I just like a couple minutes before it's showtime, I'm like, maybe I should do a show.
Right.
Yeah. And, it's like, oh, they're actually not, they must not be podcasters because they don't realize that, like what you're saying, like this stuff is scheduled.
It's scheduled
Yeah.
and you build stuff around it. And there's so many emails. And it's just, I'm just curious as I dip my toes back into Liz Feels the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have an episode, I think, this week, but we'll see.
I just want to say that podcast is such a. I was thinking it would be so fun to do like I love the idea of a hyper local.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. And you visit all the places and you talk about this stuff. Like do like a Magnolia Park one or something where we kind of where we are. Just
That's
like,
a great idea.
But I just don't have the energy to.
It's a lot. We just did one episode and I'm exhausted. So we'll see what happens.
So let's give people pointers for how to cancel or reschedule a podcast appearance in this day and age of everyone having a podcast.
Yes.
So give them as much notice as you can.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about this? I think if you think there might be a conflict, even let them know
Think
that
ahead.
of time.
Think ahead.
So, because I've had that before, or I've done that to people before, where
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, I might have a conflict. I just want to let you know. Do you want to try to find another time, or should I just keep you posted?" Because then they can start thinking of a backup. And I've actually asked you before, like, I think someone might drop out. Would you be available?
I love it.
I love it. Thank you.
I love
Thank
getting
you.
those emails.
And so I feel good if someone's going to cancel on me, just as long as they acknowledge what's happening. And by that, I just mean say like, hey, I'm so sorry to do this,
Yeah.
but even if it's just something came up, they don't even have to say what it is, but something came up. I'm not gonna be able to do it. Again, I hope this doesn't inconvenience. Like, just acknowledge that.
Be graceful.
Yeah.
If you're
That's
canceling
all
on
I
somebody
look
else,
for.
Just be graceful.
I think that post-pandemic, though, the excuse of I am coming down with something is more than legitimate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even this many years after the major
Well, it's like
outbreaks,
apparently going
Coming
around
back.
again. Yeah.
it's still like okay with me. Like if the day of you wake up and you're just like, yeah, no one's gonna have a problem with
Right.
that. I think.
right.
Agree. Yeah. That's helpful. I learned something today of how to be a human in the world.
Honestly, I still don't know how to do that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Who are we
in the
kidding?
world.
And Robin, you said that you went to a reunion.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I did. It's not your typical reunion. It was from like 7th grade to 12th grade in Van Nuys at night, Saturday afternoons. And then I moved to the Monday class. I did this acting class at a place called the Young Actor Space. And I would say from 6th until 9th grade, I was in the Saturday day class with just like a bunch of other crazy kids who just wanted to learn improv and do scene work. And like you do like scenes from the movie Lucas that were like really emotional and like whatever. But I like loved the improv part. Lucas is great.
Yeah.
I should.
Or I
bring
would say
it.
Elliot.
Oh.
Elliot would love that.
The class.
Oh, the class. Yeah.
Yeah.
They still do classes, but there are other places as well. But so in 9th grade, I'll make this as short as possible.
That's okay.
In 9th grade, I was asked to go to the Monday night class, which was the class for all professional child actors.
Ooh.
And when I tell you every single person pound for pound in that class was not just a child actor, but a famous child actor and me. And just to give you an example,
Was this like Michael Cera level child actor?
I mean, he seems so young to me, but yeah, sure. But like, so I'll give you some examples, but how do I even explain this? Oh, so right before I joined the class, I was at this school for 3 years, and I wrote a fan letter to somebody I had no idea was even associated with the school. I wrote my first fan letter ever, and it was to Thomas Wilson Brown, who was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And he was really, really cute. And then that was right when I got the tap on the shoulder to go to the Monday night class. Then I go to the Monday night class.
Oh my God.
And not only is he there,
Oh my God.
but I was assigned to do a scene with him like right out of the gate. And I was like,
That is crazy.
what have I gotten myself into? Like, everybody in this class is like very famous.
Did you tell him you had written him a letter? Do you think he got your letter?
I didn't tell him then, but I did tell him last Friday at the reunion.
Wow.
And he is a grandfather now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. So this reunion was to honor
He's like,
our
do you want to
teacher.
grab coffee? Or?
He's so great. This reunion was to honor our teacher Diane Harden, and everybody came in from near and far to honor her because I believe she just turned 90, but she didn't want to
Oh
say
my
that.
God.
And she was the most wonderful person, and she taught me exactly how to behave on a professional level. And we each gave speeches, and Diane was the first person that told me I could be a writer. And I was like, oh my God, does this mean I shouldn't be an actor? Like, you know, but I said, like, Diane, I took you up on it. I'm a writer now. And like people clapped when I said that. And I was like, what? But okay. So just to tell you who was there.
Yeah, please.
It was the event was at Lindsay Price's ranch. So
I know who that is.
Lindsay
But what's
Pri-
she known for?
Lindsay Price is known for 90210, and she was on All My Children when we were in high school.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a big deal when she got that job. So Lindsay and her brother Brian were like my great friends in high school. And in fact, I was with Brian Price, Kelly Martin, and Scott Weinger at a play the night, who's still my friend, the night my parents
Full
decided
House.
to split up from
Oh.
Full House. Yeah. So it was like this, like, I was like, oh my God, I'm with all the people that I was with. So, and then Lindsay Price is now married to Curtis Stone, the Australian chef, and they have this ranch out in Agoura where they have like events, and he shoots all his stuff in the kitchen and da-da-da-da. So Lindsay Price, Curtis Stone, I don't know if you'll remember the great Chad Allen.
Do I? Yes.
He was on, I think, Our House, but then also when we were in when we were in
on
the class, he
Baywatch?
was on Dr. Quinn Medicine.
Oh.
I don't know if he was on Baywatch. He
Chad
might have been.
Allen. He was like all over my teen magazines.
Yeah. And what's so funny is that I had the biggest crush on him. Kelly had the biggest crush on him. And like every night we would go home and cry because we loved Chad Allen so much. And then like our senior year, he like fully came out of the closet to us
Oh, I
as a
forgot,
class.
yeah.
And then he was outed by a tabloid in like 96.
I think I had forgotten that he's gay.
Yeah, he's great. And he's a psychologist now living in Vermont. He has a PhD. He's
Whoa.
awesome. Elizabeth Berkley was there. I was not in class with her. Nicole Tom, who is on The Nanny. She was in my class.
I think she was also on maybe a soap opera. Was she on like Days of Our Lives?
Her sister Heather
Oh, okay.
was.
Yes, that's who I'm
Heather
thinking of.
Tom. And Heather Tom was the one, like, she would come in like from shooting Young and the Restless or whatever when we were in high school, like
it was
looking
Duel, Days of Our Lives.
gorgeous. And I
Right.
just like would sit in the back of the class and be like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like what am I doing? I mean, I got used to it after a while, but Brian Austin Green was in our class, not at the reunion. But I got to see just like so many people that like I love from such a specific time in my life. And whenever I talk about this class before this, I felt like I sounded like an ass, like a real LA asshole. Like I was in a class with all these famous people, but I didn't choose to do that.
Yeah.
It
Right.
just happened.
They-
And it changed my life because then I like went to college and was in the improv group because I knew how to do improv. And so it was just really special. And I consider it a life highlight. And like I could not, so I was up till 4 a.m. on Friday into Saturday morning because I was so happy. And I hadn't felt like that in a long time. Like the high school reunions like kill me now. But like this was just so special. And Lindsay Price did an amazing job putting it together. It was not easy, but it was just great. And
that sounds so. That's
That
like
does sound good.
like a warm hug.
Mandy,
but more than that.
Mandy Ingber from Teen Witch was there. Like all these Thomas Wilson Brown, I finally got to confess to him and he was like, oh my God, did I write you back? And I was like, no, we were in class. No. And he was like, I was so bad at that, but he was so sweet. Like everybody did really well except for two people which we can discuss offline.
Ooh.
Danny Masterson and Allison Mack were in that class.
You were in a oh my god!
So Allison came into the class when I left for college, so I never
Okay.
really knew her. But Danny, we were all at Danny Masterson. I was like, does anybody remember you guys when we all went to Danny Masterson Sweet 16? And everyone was like, no. And I was like, no, we fully went. We all went to Danny Masterson Sweet 16.
Is he in jail right now?
He is.
Yeah.
And he called it a Sweet 16 on the invitation. I remember that so clearly. But by and large,
So who among everyone is there anyone who's still acting?
Kelly is still acting whenever she feels like she wants to. But that was the thing. That was like the thing. I was Tracy Wells from Mr. Belvedere was there.
Heather from Mr. Belvedere.
She was there, and
I feel like I just mentioned her the other day.
she's great. And she's on Instagram now. She's the freckled realtor on Instagram. She's a realtor now. And I made a beeline for her because I was like, you don't know who I am, but I had actually gone to junior high with her sister. And I was like, how's your sister Carrie? And she's like, do you want to call her right now? And I was like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. She won't remember me. But it was just a great time. And it was something that emotionally I think I needed and wasn't prepared for at all. And it was just wonderful.
I'm so glad.
That sounds
I'm so
great.
glad you had that.
I know.
I guess at this point it's like a couple years ago, reconnected with one of my good friends from college who she moved to the Canary Islands shortly after and married a guy there. And I just had fallen out of touch completely with her. And we got in touch again and we were communicating. She's still somewhere near there. So we talk on WhatsApp and we do voice messages often
Love
or
it.
just texting. But it's been I had some similar feelings of like it feel like it's like it's been good for my soul to reconnect with a person from this time of my life and like the me from then. And I don't know, there's something like so edifying about it. Maybe that's not the right word.
That's what it felt like. Like, I think in that class, I always felt a little less than because I wasn't really allowed to audition and I was not a
Your
successful.
parents wouldn't let you?
No, I auditioned like 2 or 3 times, but they were like, you're going to have to drive yourself and we don't, you know. But it was just so strange to be like, oh my God, I'm one of the only people here who's even working in this industry still,
That's
which
so interesting.
which was so interesting. And if I could have whispered that to myself back then, but back then I was just like, oh my God, Heather Tom looks so pretty because she's still in her Young and the Restless makeup. And I'm so like, it just, you make it so about you in the most negative way. And, and it was just so strange how it all worked out. It's just so strange. And I actually have to say, I'm really impressed with the people who've successfully left and like have thriving careers.
Right.
Like Chad. It's incredible. He's a PhD.
I know.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
He's the best. And
Do you guys know who Chad Allen is?
I remember
No
it
idea.
He was
vaguely,
a big deal.
The
back
name
then.
sounds familiar. I never paid attention to that stuff really.
he wrote me a
cool.
postcard. He had gone backpacking through Europe and he wrote me a postcard in this period of time where I was still in love with him. And I remember I was at sleepaway camp and I called my sister and she's like, you have a postcard from somebody named Chad. And I just ran away from the phone booth and I was like screaming. I was so happy. But to see him now and to realize like the attraction I had for him was just like we were supposed to always just be great friends. We were not supposed to kiss and make out. And I feel that way about Lindsay's brother Brian. Like we were so close back then, but it wasn't necessarily romantic. But you don't know that when you're a teenager. You think, oh my God, I like this guy, and if he's gay, that means that I'm horrible. You know, you're not thinking clearly.
Oh, did you have a reaction when you found out that Chad was gay? When
I
he
think
came out
I was
to you
just
guys?
like, oh, like, I think it was like, oh, that makes sense. And then another thing I told Chad, I was like, do you remember his improvs? His scenes were so serious. So we'd all get up and do funny scenes. And Chad was always like sweeping something, very emotionally sweeping something. And like, he was like, oh my God, that's so funny. I tell all my patients now that I really left it all on the stage and I encourage them to do that. And he's like, I can't believe you remember that. And I was like, yeah, anytime you got up there, we knew we were getting something juicy. But he knew, but he didn't know how to come to terms with it, I suppose, at that age.
So you were wanting to be a child actor, but did you not have your parents wouldn't take you to auditions or?
Well, that's what I said in my speech was that I was not as mature. All those kids in that class had a level of maturity at that age that I didn't have. And then I said that I was like, I grew up and I got to run a show with all kids and I found my maturity with that and stuff. But I wanted to perform definitely, but I don't think I understood the difference between like being in a school play and being in a commercial. And even with all that acting training, I still didn't know until I like really grew up. Like, I just don't think I was ready for that, even though it was what all my friends are doing and it seemed like so much fun. And they had money. Like, they took us out for frozen yogurt. They had money to spend. But I think in the end, like, everything fell out where it should have.
Right.
But definitely back then, I was like, especially going out with Kelly and Scott, like, they were a couple and they were like riding
didn't know
around.
they were a
Yeah, for years. And they were riding around in a BMW. And I'm like, oh my God, what do they think of my 87 Corolla? But everyone's still friends and everybody's doing great, which is kind of the most important thing.
What does Scott do now?
Scott's a writer. I worked with Scott on Gallivant, and we've been toying around with a project ever since. But he was out of town. He was not able to go to the reunion. So we definitely missed him. Chad missed seeing him. There were there was a child actor named Luke Edwards that was really like a genius, and he was there. It was just crazy. Melora Hardin is the daughter of our teacher. So it was just like a lot of different people from just like this very specific time. And then I got a text the next morning from Tracy Wells, and I was texting my sister, like, are you so jealous I have a text from Tracy Wells? But it was great. It was great. Thank you. I just thought it was like right up in terms of like the Creel triplets, things that have been discussed on the show. I felt like this could be inserted somewhere.
It's so interesting. It's interesting that you grew up in an area where that's possible for a kid.
Yeah.
Because where I grew up, I mean, there were acting classes and stuff, but the idea that anybody from my community would ever have any connection to the business at all was unimaginable.
Yeah, same.
I think that's where my parents and I were coming from. It was just supposed to be fun. I originally went to Young Actor Space in 6th grade with my friend Rosie because we were just like hyperactive weirdos and we loved doing theater. I didn't realize it until that Monday night class. I was like, I've never even done a commercial. You know what I mean? So I felt like massive imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Starting at 14 years old, which is so healthy.
Right.
So healthy.
Just the perfect time for a young girl. Oh, that sounds really nice.
It was really nice. And I'm just like, I'm still sort of, I have a big emotional hangover from it. I just wasn't expecting it to be what it was. And it was so special.
How were you feeling when you pulled up?
I was like, I pulled up with Kelly. Because Kelly's family also took me, like when my parents were going through their divorce in high school, I lived at their house essentially. And so I'm very close with them. And I felt pulling up, I was like, I'm really proud that I'm pulling up with you in my car. Like, this is great. But then I was like, we were also just like, what is this going to be? Should we leave after a half an hour? Like, what's our signal? And then we got there and it was just like the amount of like hugging and weeping. It was amazing. I just wasn't prepared for it. I'm almost still not. Which is why I'm in a good mood. I don't know.
See, I went to my high school reunion. It did not have that kind of it was fine. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But did I talk about it with you?
We talked about Pedro Pascal or something Pedro related.
Yeah. Right. Right, because he had been in my class before I was there. But it was just, I wasn't particularly close with like the vast majority of people I went to high school with, although I know them as acquaintances.
Yeah.
So I was just, like I've said, it was like I'm just in a room with a lot of people that I should make small talk with.
Yeah.
But like that's exhausting.
Yeah.
But I think something like a reunion like you're talking about where you really lived a lot of life around these people, like that's really sweet.
Yeah. I just wasn't expecting that. Like I got the invitation. I was like, oh, cute. And then I was kind of blown away by like how much this place meant to me and how I forgot, like just like life kind of got in the way. And Diane's husband was actually in an episode of mine of The Middle. Her husband's an actor, Jerry Hardin, and he didn't remember. It's fine. He didn't remember. It's fine. But it was just like a weird full circle moment that I was not expecting. It just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, but in the best way.
Did you explain to Sam what it meant to you? And like, did he get it?
Yes. For sure. I was like, I'm feeling really emotional. Like the whole next day, I was just like not myself, but in a good way.
So when you come home from an event like that and you're on that high, what do you do with yourself?
Smoke some pot.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's when drugs.
That's when drugs are helpful.
like-
Sam was actually at a late dinner, so I think I was trying to catch up on some housewife stuff just because I was like buzzing. I just was like, oh my God, like every single person that was there was awesome. It was just so good to see everybody. Even the people I didn't know, I'd be like, I knew of you. It was great. But like my college reunion's coming up in a month or two, and I'm going, and I don't really want to. But I'm going because my nephew is now at that school, so I want to see
NYU?
him. Northwestern.
Oh, right.
I want to see him, but I don't.
Are you
I
going
feel like
where is it going to be in
Chicago.
Chicago? Yeah.
But I don't feel like getting on a plane, especially after coming back from Nantucket. I don't feel like getting on a plane again anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it's
Although
fine.
Chicago's nice. I like
The
Chicago.
best.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It's just different when it's like something as organized as a school. This was like our life. It was just like a life reunion. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like when you have intense experience with a lot of people, then the reunion matters. For me, the high school thing, it's like I was always one step out.
Yeah.
Or 1 foot out. Like I wasn't really involved with my high school. In a way I was, in a way I wasn't. So for me, it's like I don't have there's nothing to really go over. There's other things I would, but not this.
What if you had like a reunion of your film school people?
That would be amazing. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love. We have had those, and it's totally different because that's more like, oh, we had this intense experience together. We all have these great memories. That's what you want. You want those people that knew you then, remember things you forgot, have different perspectives. It's invigorating.
Yeah.
But when it's just people who are like, they kind of remember you. Oh, it's like that's the opposite. That's a shitty feeling. Like, oh, I barely registered for you. I'm so glad I knew that people had this ambivalent feeling about me.
But by the way, when I told Thomas Wilson Brown, like right out of the gate, I was like, this is the time for me to tell you I wrote you a fan letter.
That's
and then we
hilarious.
did a scene together a week later. He was like, oh my God, was I nice? And then about an hour into the party, he came up to me and he was like, I totally remember you now.
No way.
I was like, thanks. I mean, I think my hair was brown back then. I don't know. We all
So he was playing it off like he remembered you, and then he came back, and then
He was like, no, I really remember you.
No, I didn't. I was faking it before.
I'm gonna have to
He was
look
like
up
the
this hot
James
grandpa.
Dean of our acting class. And Chad and I were talking about like he was just so hot and he'd sit in the back.
How does he look now? Has he held
looks
on to his looks?
great. Yeah, he looks great.
Allison, have you ever written a fan letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, to who? I mean, besides me.
Right. I'm trying to remember. So there was this guy who had been in a local production of Babes in Toyland.
Yes.
He played Little Boy Blue.
Yeah.
And he was so cute. So I wrote him a fan letter when I was 13. I wrote him a couple fan letters. I don't know if he
couple.
ever got them. He never wrote back or anything, but I did.
No autographed picture or anything?
No, I got nothing. I got
You'd think that a guy that was in a local production of Little Boy Blue
He
would have...
he had toured with Madonna on her Who's That Girl tour. She had like a little kid that danced with her.
Oh yeah, at the end of the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe he was also on, was there a show called Kid Songs?
I think
Jensen Karp had been on this show too.
Huh.
Yeah. And then many years later, I was at a party and I was like, it was like a record label party. And I was like, oh my God, I think that's him. But I did not go up to him and say anything. I don't even think he would know who I am, you know? But I know that I felt very embarrassed.
Yeah.
But really, it's like, I was 13. Who cares, you know?
But also...
But I mean, this was not just like, I don't know what Robin's letter was like, but mine was like multiple pages front and back. I mean, like I don't even know what I said in there, but it was like very detailed.
So funny.
Tony, what about you? How many fan letters have you sent out?
I can't really think of it. I think the closest that came to mind was I really used to watch a lot of football when I was younger, and I was very into collecting football cards.
Yeah.
And there were a couple, and the Bears were my team. There were a couple of players because there was always a thing in the card magazines is like tell you where you could send a self-addressed stamped envelope, and then they would maybe sign it and return it. So I did that, and one time even a drawing that I sent, and then got it sent back.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Is Is like Instagram or whatever the new,
Probably, yeah.
no one sends fan letters anymore.
No, that was the thing. That was the only way back then you could get in touch with all your favorite people on TV is like you'd find a magazine and then the magazine would have some weird address. By the way, I found out the address that I sent my Thomas Wilson Brown fan letter to was Young Actors Space, but I didn't
how
realize it.
funny.
It was their P.O. box.
I
my
have a similar.
God.
When Twin Peaks was on the air, I sent a letter to David Lynch and Mark Frost.
Oh.
Basically because I would volunteer at the local public access TV, cable station, and I thought, it would be fun to do a show that was, Twin Peaks fans, Twin Peaks trivia. I wonder if they would send me a bunch of swag. And so it was a fan letter because I loved the show, but then it was also like, and if you have any stuff you could send me kind of thing. And I sent it to, the only address I could get was for Propaganda, who was one of the production companies, and never got anything back. And then later I ended up interning at Propaganda.
Did you find your letter?
No, but I realized, oh yeah, that just got lost. Like these people do not give a shit about stuff like that. So similar.
They called their company Propaganda.
Yeah.
It was a fun experience overall, but yeah.
Listen, guys, this has been delightful. I'm realizing I need to say hello and welcome to the new patrons.
Allison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there. Decided to be new patrons. Patreon.com/AllisonRosen.
Hello and welcome to Michelle Farrell, to Aaron Estep, to Margaret, to Courtney Atchley, who is at the texting level. Send me a text, girl. To Caprice, I don't know who that is, who that voice is. I don't know that I'll ever do that again. To Caprice Helm, who both signed up for an annual subscription and at the texting level, and Ali Knopf. Hello, welcome. I hope you are having a delightful time among the stuff that you get as a patron. Patreon.com/AllisonRosen. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Robin, where might we find you?
I'm at Robin Shorr on Instagram. And thank you all to the people who follow me. You're all so nice. And there will be an episode of Los Feliz, the podcast, dropping this week. Fingers crossed.
Wonderful.
You don't even have to know anything about Los Feliz.
No.
Or Los Feliz.
Or even how to say it.
Yeah.
I say it.
Daniel.
I'm sorry.
Where do we find you?
You can find me at Daniel Quantz on Instagram, where I am trying to step up my social media game because one day I may not be employed. I got to be employed as an influencer.
And Tony?
Mostly just Instagram these days at Robin.
Tony Thaxton.
Thank you. Bizarre albums every Tuesday, and if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, tomorrow, August 25th, and you're in Los Angeles, I'm playing at the Lodge Room with Jonah Ray and Don't Stop or We'll Die.
Oh, that's a fun show.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And then, Motion City stuff in September and October.
And follow me everywhere at Allison Rosen, but on TikTok, I am the Allison Rosen, and subscribe to my YouTube. More videos coming soon. Thanks, everyone. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Allison Rosen is your new best friend.